So today we're going to talk about your people. Is it possible that your people are a little bit more depressed than they used to be? Is it possible that they deal with anxiety more than they have before? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, and why is that? I love all the answers if they were just a little bit more audible. Overloaded, uncertainty, cost of living's going up, all kinds of, yes, they're dealing with more debt than they ever have before, which is fun. Now I'm back here going, I'm not sure if that's true. Well, you're right. In the 1930s, we had a depression and it was 30% unemployment. Yes, that was really bad. But since that time, people have been dealing with debt more than they have in a long, long time. More so than they have in a long, long time. So they also are less likely to have social support. You see this thing that we've had called COVID, nobody wants to talk about anymore. But remember we had to be 6 feet apart from one another. And it was so fun, right? And we all wore masks so we couldn't see each other's expressions. It was the best. And that had an effect on us, okay? So we tend to marry later on in life. People aren't crazy like me and get married in 3 weeks, okay? They don't do that anymore. And you're wondering why. Well, my name's Brigham. I'm from Utah. Connect the dots, okay? One wife, I know what the rest of you are thinking. We don't do that anymore. Okay, so they're depressed, and when people are depressed and unhappy, this is kind of how they sound. And by the way, this is a live call. That's why it's not totally awesome, right? The audio is kind of garbled and stuff, but you'll get the point. Here we go. Holy cow, it's jumping. Why is it jumping? Let's try it again. I know you guys are waiting and anticipating, like, what is this? 2 more seconds. Let's see if we can just do it real quick.
It's Rita. This is Carly. How can I make you smile today?
Oh, we just moved into a condo in Boynton Beach, and our air has been working fine up until last night. For some reason, we don't know if it's just the thermostat. It will not shut off. It just keeps reading 82. And it feels like it's still blowing cool air. It's just the thermostat will not shut off. So it's running nonstop. So.
Okay.
Do you have a technician that will be able to come out and check it for us?
Yes, I do.
How does she sound? Depressed. We've been talking about that. What else? What are you hearing? She's tired. Soft-spoken, meek, great, lack of enthusiasm, right? So this is how an unhappy CSR sounds. If they're not in an emotionally great state, it's going to affect their performance, okay? So, same CSR in a happy state of mind. Here we go.
Kylie, how can I make you smile today?
I need to get my air conditioning fixed.
All right, well, sir, you definitely called the right place. We can definitely get somebody out there for you.
What'd you hear? Enthusiasm, what else? Different person. Yeah. What was that? Happy, absolutely. In the right state of mind. So that's our goal. Okay? Let's listen to one more in not the right state of mind.
And I may help you.
Hi, my name is Kirk Dollar. I live in Buckhead, and our heat is not turning on. So if I can get somebody to give us a quote.
Okay, a quote to, you want to get it repaired, or you think it needs to be replaced? What were you thinking?
Just repaired.
Okay, it's a $1,000 color.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, I think it's the motor, but could be wrong on that.
Gotcha. Is it for a residential property or a commercial?
Yeah, it's a residential property.
It's $78 for us to come out and do the diagnostic.
What'd you hear? No caring. What else? No empathy. Okay, if they're not in a great state of mind, right? If they're not emotionally engaged in the work that they're doing, they're going to miss that opportunity, and we're going to lose money as a result. Okay? So, same CSR, good state of mind, happy state of mind.
Vanessa, may I help you?
Hey, Vanessa, I have a heater that is not heating. and she needs somebody to check it out for me, see what's going on. I've been doing a little bit of DIY troubleshooting, but it has exceeded my boundary of understanding.
Shocker.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. No no shame in that.
What did you just hear? Empathy. Can you imagine that being on a script? Oh, no shame in that. No, that doesn't work, right? See, when they're emotionally engaged in their work, they're going to perform at a much higher level. So that's our goal. Get them 100% engaged in what they're doing. All right, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. But we want to get to the point where they're performing at such a high level that they can even book wrong phone numbers. Someone like this.
Vicky, how may I help you?
Who am I speaking to?
This is Vicky with Corley Plumbing, Air and Electric.
I'm sorry, I had the wrong number.
Are you sure you don't need us for anything? Plumbing, electrical?
I could probably use you for a plumbing issue.
Well, talk to me about it. Tell me what's going on.
You can clap. You can clap for that. What did you hear? Excitement, total engagement. Booked the call, yeah. Hopefully they book. Can you imagine we'll go out of business if they're just answering the phone? Anybody can answer the phone, all right? The last thing you want to tell somebody who has this job is, hey, you're going to answer phones. No. Your job is to book the call while the customer. That's the job, right? Keep the dispatch board full. That's our job. So, in order to get to this state of mind, we've got to use something that's pretty awesome, all right? When they use it, there's something they've got to have emotionally.
Vicky, how much?
They've got to love what they do. They have to love it, all right? So we've got to provide an environment for them where they have the opportunity to love it. Now, people can do what they love in several different places. So it's not just doing what they love, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But the best way I've found to get people to do what they love is this wheel here. It's called the Pattern for Excellence. Okay, this is the money, right? This is the tool that you use to help your team love what they do. Now, I love that you're taking pictures of this. At the end, I'm going to have a barcode, and you guys can download this entire PowerPoint. How does that sound? Yes? Okay, cool. So, our objective, get them to love what they do. We have them use this process, and you guys, this process works. Okay, we've been doing this at Power Slaying Pros for about 14 years now. All right, we have over 1,000 trainees in our program. We train CSRs, dispatchers, lead coordinators, one-on-one, twice a month using their own phone calls. All right, in fact, there's probably existing customers, right? You might be sitting next to an existing customer, okay? So we listen to those calls, we coach them one-on-one. This process absolutely works for our clients. Now, last year, we wanted to test out the Pattern for Excellence a little bit more. So what we started doing is we started a night answering service where we answer the phones. All right, we're getting testimonials like crazy right now. We answer about 7,000 calls a month right now. It's a small company, but it's growing rapidly. We use the same process, and we have stints where we're booking 100% of our phone calls. Okay, it is a night answering service only. We don't like to take anybody's jobs away. All right, so it's just at night. Very cool program, and it works. Same Pattern for Excellence. So I started testing it a little bit more. About 8 months ago, I was I was a client at a company called Athlicare. And as we were talking, he wasn't loving his job very much. And I said, dude, you should love your job. So I started talking to the boss, and next thing you know, one thing led to another, and I ended up buying this company. So I buy this company, and they were making about $5,000 a month 8 months ago. And there's only two things that I did. Number one, I raised the prices. Crazy concept. Raise prices, all right? We quadrupled the price. We went from 50 members to 150 members in a matter of months. And we also use the Pattern for Excellence. Now, the back end going, well, what is Athlicare? Well, if you do a workout, and right after the workout, you don't recover, that's going to hurt your body instead of helping it. So you got to make sure you're actively recovering after the workouts. Now, in back here going, well, how does that apply to us? Well, if you've got a technician who's got, I don't know, arthritic knees or what have you, if he were to go to an Athlicare, get stretched out, get massaged the next day, chances are you can get another 5 years out of your technician. Would you like that or not? Yes or no? Absolutely yes. Last thing we want to do is, oh yeah, sure, technician, we'll do something creative inside the office. We'll have you answer phones. No, don't have them do that. We'll have you do collections. No, don't have them do that. Let's just keep them in the field. Yes? All right. Okay. New Fit Underground, another organization, same thing. They use the Pattern for Excellence. We opened up about 4 or 5 months ago. It's nutrition planning, meal planning, and fitness. And we went from 0 clients to 100 clients using the same Pattern for Excellence just a few months ago. Okay? This pattern works. It will get people to love their job, and that's the goal. So, in addition to that, in addition to them loving what they do, they need to love you. Now, in the back here, you're going, okay, so why do they need to love me? Well, think about it for just a moment. They can do what they love just about anywhere. There are more jobs than there are people. True or false? We know that's true. So they can do what they love anywhere. So in addition to them loving what they do, they've also got to love you. All right? They are needing help from an emotional standpoint. They are dealing with debt. They are dealing with anxiety. So it's our job with the 8 to 10 hours we have with them day in and day out to make sure that we create an amazing culture. You know how people say, oh, happy Friday. That's a problem. We don't want people to be excited to leave work. We want them to say, oh, crappy Friday. I don't want to leave work. Seriously. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Let's get this done. Do we not want that? We want this to be the best place, something they're excited about. Maybe they come early for them, not for us, but for them. That's our goal. That's our goal. Okay, so they got to love us as their leader. They got to feed off of our energy. Any BYU fans in the room? Yes! Look, we got 2, 3 BYU Cougars. Come on, you guys. We're in the Big 12 now. I'm very excited about that. This is our coach in the 1980s. Okay, we won the championship with this. You may not know this, but we did beat Miami in 1984. It was amazing. I was alive. Okay? We named the stadium after Lavelle Edwards. He's a fantastic guy. When they make a touchdown, when his players made a touchdown, this is how he looked. When they fumbled the ball, this is how he looked. Okay? And it worked. It worked back then. That was the type of leadership style that they needed, right? Back then. Here's our coach today. Kalani Sitake, baby. And he's got a winning record. And every time they make a touchdown, this is how he looks, right? He's dancing. He's having a great time. And of course, he doesn't look so good when they fumble, right? He's upset. They're upset. Everybody's upset. Okay? He's real. He's genuine, and it seems to speak to the Gen Zs and the millennials of the world. Okay, it just so happens to be 75% of our workforce. Just saying. Okay, so you may want to consider your leadership style and consider whether or not your team loves that, whether or not your culture needs something different. Okay, something to think about. So, Kalani's leadership style. High amount of expectation, tons of expectation, and tons of love. All right? That's our sweet spot. That's the goal we want to get to. But if you've got high expectation and a low amount of love, what you've got is you've got problems with false reporting. You've got sales at all costs by your comfort advisors and your lead techs. You've got self-centered behavior going on. And I know this has never happened inside your organization. It doesn't happen in mine either, right? But when it does happen, it's usually because of this. We got to make sure we have high expectation, but also high amount of love. Now, if you've got low love and low expectation, it's an even bigger problem. You've got rebellion inside the office. You've got regulation violators. You've got seemingly distracted people and inappropriate behavior, which never happens inside of our organization. Okay? If we have low expectation and high love, what happens? Well, we've got cliques. We've got buddy-buddy mentality. We have people going through the motions there, and there's zero accountability. All right? That has a tendency to happen as well. And guys, we have problems with each of these things in different moments, which is why we've got to make sure we have that balance. Now, if we've got inside our culture high expectation, high amount of love, we have service-minded people. Those service-minded people, they are emotionally engaged, right? They're emotionally engaged in their work. They're great at customer service. They're providing great customer experience after great customer experience. And their sales goals are being realized as a byproduct of that emotional engagement. Okay, so that's the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot. That's where we want to be. As far as the principles are concerned, you know the thing that makes them love what they do? First principle is positivity attracts people. So our goal is to make sure it's a super positive environment. So the question is do you hire for attitude or for track record? Which one? What do you guys think? You're right, and it's a trick question because you want both, okay? You've probably heard 1,000 times you want to hire for attitude, hire for attitude, hire for attitude, and that's true. Okay? And you want to make sure that you hire for attitude over experience. In the back of your head, you're going, well, why is that? Well, we have a tendency to hire somebody who's worked for 3 other heating and cooling companies. And you're going, oh my gosh, look at all this experience this person has. You're hired, right? The interview will last 5 seconds. What's the problem with that? Yeah, those people are laughing. They're laughing because they've done it, and so have we. Okay? So you're absolutely right. We got to be careful with that because they might have the wrong experience, meaning they have to unlearn what they've been doing for the last 30 years in order for them to learn what we want them to do. See what I'm saying? So we want to absolutely hire for attitude over experience. Now, it's not just attitude. In other words, if somebody comes in on the initial interview and they provide this amazing performance, right? They are just over the top. It's incredible. And you, based on that performance, you go, you're hired. What's wrong with that? Yeah. And 60 days later, you realize you just wasted a lot of money and time and effort because that person is a faker, right? So what do? Well, we want to make sure they've got a track record. And how do we do that? Yeah, we don't skip on the references. We call the references. We find out why they're not working the way they were used to be working. All right? And we get people to tell us that, yes, this attitude, it's not fake. It's not placated. It's absolutely real. These guys are amazing, and I wish they were still with us. Stuff like that. Yes? Okay, so we need both. Positive attitude, absolutely, as well as a track record. Now, if you want more information on hiring the right people, I've got an SOP here that is incredible. It's 22 pages long. Just grab it on the barcode real quick. And it's from Clover Marketing. If you guys aren't familiar with Clover Marketing, they are a phenomenal marketing organization dedicated to this industry, and we work with them hand in hand. Great marketing organization. I'll let you guys grab this SOP real quick, and we'll jump to the next one. You guys having fun yet? Yes? Good. 3 of you are having fun. That's good. Really good. Couple more phones jumping up, and we're about to... You guys are awesome. Everybody's like, well, if you're doing it, I'm doing it. Okay, remember, you're going to get this PowerPoint at the end, so regardless, you're going to have it. Okay, here we go. Preparation inspires confidence. That's the next principle in the Pattern for Excellence. Question: what grade would you give your company on SOPs? What are SOPs? Standard operating procedures, exactly. What grade would you give yourself? Just turn to the person next to you and tell them the grade. Ready, go. I know. All right, very good. Okay. The last thing you want to do is hire somebody and then have them sit in their chair. You know where they're going to sit for the next 8 to 10 hours every day of their lives, right? Except Sunday, and maybe even on Sundays sometimes. And say, you know what, you're great, you're fantastic, here's how the computer works, and you're so sweet, so kind, so nice, I know you're just going to do a great job, see you later. True or false? Bad idea. We just sold them on how amazing we are as an organization. We want to make sure that we have it all lined out. Okay, their job needs to be lined out step by step, written out. Extremely important. Okay, if you don't have this yet, get it from us. Come to our booth, and we'll just help you with it. Okay, we'll make sure that you've got these SOPs so that they have something that they can look to know how to do their job, step by step, as detailed as possible. Do not let them touch the phone without practicing first. And you want to practice everything. In fact, I would set the tone for practice even before you hire them. All right, just say, hey, ring, ring, ring. And let's find out what happens. Let's see what they got. Let's see what they're capable of. And you're also setting an expectation that, hey, practice is just what we do. It's not that you're good, it's not that you're bad, it's just what we do. We practice a lot. Now, the reason why I say this is because when we start working with companies, what do you think is the main reason why people hire us? Yeah, exactly. They were happy to be walking by their call center and they heard something they didn't like and they're like, holy cow, we got a problem. Or they listened to a call And they go, holy Hannah, this is not great. We have a problem. And so then the CSRs, dispatchers, the lead coordinators, they catch wind of this. They're like, oh no, we're about to be punished. And then they start practicing with Power Sling Pros, and they think that Power Sling Pros is a punishment. Thanks, guys. Okay, so we want to create this culture of practice even before we hire them. It's just something we do in our organization. It is just part of our culture. If you can set it up that way, then guess what? They'll be okay practicing. It won't be a punishment. Okay. Next principle. Understanding invites connection. Question. How do you go about observing employee behavior? Now, as you consider the answer to that question, you should absolutely have a team of individuals listening to your calls on a regular basis and save certain calls for coaching purposes. You should also have somebody designated to do ride-alongs, even when it's busy. Why? Right, and I know in the back of your head you're going, well, we don't do ride-alongs with CSRs. Well, I'm also talking about your techs. You should be observing your team. It should be part of your culture. So why do you do it even when it's busy, or especially when it's busy? High stress? What if they've got more than 4 calls for the day? They cut corners. They go, hey, man, I want to get home today. I've got a fishing trip planned. If I just cruise through the first 2, I'll be good. I'll make some sales on the last 2. I'll look good. My numbers will look good, and we're all good. Everybody wins. I know this never happens. But when it does, and you're not watching, you're losing money. Okay? Customers are not being taken care of. The team is not emotionally engaged. So we always want to show them that we're listening. We're always listening. It's part of our culture. It's just what we do. Okay? Next principle. Empathy validates worth. Question. How quickly do you deliver feedback on their performance? Now, you guys, if you're waiting till the 90-day review to give feedback, that's a mistake. Why would we do that? Our goal is to give feedback early and often. All right? Now, there's an overall reason why we're doing these things. You see, our employees, they're our customers. They're our inside customers. Are they not? Yes or no? Yes or no? Awesome. Yes. Okay. If they are our inside customers, our goal is to keep them happy. That's our goal. That's our objective. If we can give that feedback early and often, what are we showing them? That they matter. That was the perfect thing. They matter. And your team, they need to feel like they matter. Okay? It could be, if they're not performing the way that they should, it could be because they learn differently. All right, by raise of hands, how many of you had a 4.0 in high school? 4.0. Hey guys, look around the room. Nobody had a 4.0. Maybe a few people, they're like, but I don't want to raise my hand right now. I'd rather be considered a dummy right now. Once or the entire Amy, really? Once or the entire time, you're going to get that specific. Don't worry about it. Okay, you're a brainiac. Awesome. You rock. So the rest of us, right? You're awesome. Thank you very much. So the rest of us, chances are, we learn differently. What a concept, right? If you have different ways to learn or to teach, to help their learning, say, for example, videos. Say, for example, something they can read, like an SOP. Say, for example, you've got another person there where they can practice back and forth. Find out how they learn before you fire them. Okay? You all learn differently. It's not fair to give them or to not give them the same chance, the same opportunity. Now, we have 150 videos in our programs. If you guys need visuals, just come to our booth afterwards and we can help you with all of that. We can give you different ways to teach your team, all right? That way you can get them emotionally engaged in their work, all right? So show them that you care. Show them that you're listening. Show them that you care. These are their emotional needs that they need fulfillment on, all right? That's how we get an emotionally engaged team. Next principle, assurance builds trust. Question, does each member on your team know that they belong? One of the main reasons why we lose employees is because they don't feel like they're a fit. They feel lost. It's not because of their pay. It's not because of the weird hours. It's because they feel like it's not the place for them. So whose job is it to make them feel like they belong? That's right. It's yours. It's yours. So the best way I've found to do that is a company vision. And you guys, we've been talking about company vision for years, right? Simon Sinek talks about it all the time. What's your why? So on and so forth. But crazy thing, I haven't seen many visions when I go to a dealer's shop, right? And sometimes they've got it on the wall and they say, there it is. And nobody knows it, right? You guys, this is an incredible tool to get your team emotionally engaged in their work. You have to do this. At Zappos, you guys ever been to Zappos? Towards Zappos, raise your hands. Okay, Zappos is amazing. In the back of your head going, what's Zappos? Well, they deliver shoes. But in their minds, they're not delivering shoes at all. They deliver happiness. And they drink that Kool-Aid. Okay? Pretty amazing stuff. So, do you have a vision? If you don't, it's time to get one. And it can't be about moving boxes, and it can't be about making money. Okay? Those are byproducts. Okay? It's the reason, that may be how you do it, but it's not why. You've got to answer the why. All right? So every member on that team's got to be sold on that vision. They have to be. From an emotional standpoint, they've got to believe it in their guts. For them to love what they do, they have to see why they do what they do. That means you've got to be sold on that vision. If you're not sold, how are they going to be sold? You've got to drink that Kool-Aid first. And you've got to make sure that every individual knows how their part helps get to that vision, achieve that vision. All right? Extremely important. This is how you help them feel that they belong. Okay, so what are you doing here? You're taking care of their emotional needs. They want to feel understood. They want to feel cared about. They want to feel reassured that they're in the right place. Guess who else has the same emotional needs as your inside customers? Your outside customers, the end user. Okay? They want to be understood. They want to be cared about. They want to be reassured. And if we want them to do that for our customer, for the homeowner, should we not be doing that inside the office? Yes or no? Yes. Absolutely yes. Okay, so once we've set this culture up inside of our organization, now we can set the expectation for what we want to hear over the phones. And what do we want to hear over the phones? We want to hear them listen. We want to hear them care. And we want to hear them reassure the customer. And you guys, this is powerful stuff. Customer gets on the phone and they want a ballpark price, which never happens, right? Okay, but when it does happen, I'm looking for a ballpark price. Great. Tell me more about your situation. What's going on? Well, I've got this air conditioner. It's blowing hot air. My gosh, that's terrible. How long has it been doing that? Oh, last couple of days. Well, look, we can help you with that. When would you like us to come out? Well, this afternoon would be good. What just happened? We booked the call. We wowed the customer. And that is our goal. All right? They will do this if we're doing it inside the office. And they will love it if we're doing it inside the office. We listen, we care, we reassure. Because we expect them to listen, care, and reassure to the homeowner. And we book every call that comes in. And is it far-fetched to book every call? No, it's not far-fetched. We have trainees in our program right now that book 100% of their phone calls. In fact, I showed a testimonial to Kevin Comfort yesterday, and they said 100%. Did they not? He said yes if you didn't hear it, okay? We do it all the time. We do it all the time. They can book every call that comes in, even if it's the wrong phone number. Even if it's an advertiser. Can you imagine an advertiser calling you guys? That never happens, does it? Okay, but when it does, hey, Mr. Advertiser, I'm so glad you called. The thing is, though, my boss likes to work with those who work with him or her. I'll tell you about that one later. Okay. So what is our goal there? Mr. Jones, I want you to work with us, right? And I appreciate that you're selling some billboards, and it's fantastic. But if I go in there and talk to the owner and say, hey, another person wants to sell advertising, he or she is not going to appreciate it. However, if I can get you on a service agreement, it's cool. We come out in the spring, come out in the fall, make sure it's running at peak efficiency. Okay, I'm going to get you on it right now, and I'll go back there and I'll say, hey, we have an existing customer that happens to sell billboards. Do you want to talk with him? Absolutely. And that's how we get you in. So let's get you on that service agreement. Yes or no? Every call that comes in, look, if their mother calls in, they better be ready to buy a service agreement because that's what we do. We listen, we care, we reassure on every phone call. Next principle, asking encourages action. And then we ask the right question. And that right question, you guys, I'm letting the cat out of the bag right here. It's when would you like us to come out? Now, when I teach CSRs this question, they get really scared. Why do you think that is? Why is this a scary question? It's always right now. That's what you're thinking, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have to get backed into a corner. And guess what they do? They say, oh, you want us to come out today? Yeah, there's no way we can come out today because I want to be honest, right? Or they might even get really excited about it. So, oh yeah, there's no way we're going to get out to you today. Oh, and we hear that. We hear that, yeah. So whether we ask what their expectation of when they'd like for us to come out is, do they not still have an expectation of when they'd like for us to come out? Of course they have an expectation. So we might as well find out what it is. Okay, and that's all we're doing. We're finding out what the expectation is so that we have the opportunity to meet it. Now, if we can meet it, what should we do? We should book it. We should book that call. If we can't meet it, I'm going to give you guys a tool to book it anyway. How does that sound? Yes? Okay, it's simple. When you have a customer that calls in to reschedule, and they do reschedule, they don't cancel, all right? What do is we call the next customer, we say, hey, we're asking for a favor right now. We're saying, hey, is it okay if we come out a little bit sooner? Yes, this is what we do, yeah? Or if a technician gets done early in somebody else's, in the same area as that customer lives in, we call that customer and say, hey, could you do us a favor? We'd really like to come out just a little bit sooner. It'd be so great if you could do us a favor. See, we're asking for favors. Who should be doing who a favor? Who should be doing who a favor? We should be doing them a favor. So how do we do that? Well, I just explained it, okay? There are two ways for us to get out sooner, even if we're booked solid. Okay, number one, if a customer calls in to reschedule, remember they don't cancel. Okay, you don't want to call a customer up and say, hey, we just had a bunch of cancellations. Do you want to work with us? We don't want to do that, okay? Customer calls in to reschedule, or a technician gets done early in your area. Those are two ways, legitimate ways for us to get out today. True or false? Absolutely true. Okay, so let's say, I need both my hands for this one. So let's say we get 10 people, right, on that urgency list. And you guys, here's how it sounds. When would you like to come out? Yesterday. Cool. Let me get your contact information and we'll look at the schedule together. Did I say I could come out right now? No. I said, let me get your contact information and we'll look at the schedule together. Now, I've got their contact information. Mr. Jones, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you on today's urgency list. Now it's awesome. Once you're on the urgency list, customer calls in to reschedule or a technician gets done early in your area, what we do is we move you in that slot. But in order to get you on today's urgency list, I need to get you in the schedule. I've got an opening on Tuesday between 2 and 4. Can I book that appointment in order to get you on today's urgency list, and we'll call you as soon as the technician is on his way? Is that awesome or what? Okay, it is all about what we can do as opposed to what we cannot do. The customer doesn't call in to find out all the things we can't do. Can you imagine? Hey, I'm just calling because I'm bored. I just want to find out what you can't do for me. Just tell me how many times you can say no with all the questions I've got. I've just got 20 here. Are you ready? Okay, so we focus in on what we can do, all right? And this is what we can do. It's legitimate and it's real. We're not stretching the truth at all. We're simply saying customer calls in to reschedule, technician gets done in the area, we move in that slot. And let's say we've got 10 people on the urgency list and we've got 5 that we can call the same day. And we say, hey, Mr. Jones, we've had you on today's urgency list. You do have an appointment on Tuesday, but guess what? We're going to nix that appointment. Why? Because we've got a technician who is on his way. And what are they doing right now? They are celebrating. They're going online. They're saying, oh my gosh, these guys are so freaking amazing. I called a bunch of companies and they're the only one that come out today. Okay? So those 5 they're taken care of. Now I know how the rest of you guys are in the room. They're like, what about those other 5? I'm glad you asked. You call them at the end of the day and say, Mr. Jones, we've had you on today's urgency list. Now look, we've got 30 technicians, and it doesn't matter how many technicians you got. We've got 2 technicians. We've got 5 technicians. Regardless, you say we've got 5 technicians, 10 technicians in the field right now. And here's the key. We're getting to as many families as we possibly can. It's not customers anymore. It's families. Why? Because it's an emergency. All right? We're getting to as many families as we possibly can. I'm going to put you on tomorrow's urgency list. As soon as a customer calls in to reschedule, a technician gets done in your area, I'm going to move you into that slot. As a worst case scenario, we've got a guaranteed appointment on Tuesday between 2 and 4. We will call you as soon as the technician is on his way. So, if you're busy, what are the chances of your competitors being busy as well? Pretty good? Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. What does that mean? Well, that means that they're going to wait regardless. And you guys, if they're going to wait, then they might as well wait for you. Yes? Yes. That's what the urgency list is for. Now, I promised you guys, you're going to get a copy of this. That's that urgency list right there, and I promise at the end we'll have a barcode and you can scan it, and it'll be amazing. Okay? Sound good so far? You guys like this so far, yes or no? Yes. All right. See how this will help you book calls? Of course. Okay. Next principle. Value creates commitment. Question. Do you train and reward for the behavior you want? And is that not what we want to do? Provide the training and the rewards for the behavior we want. Okay? So, we want to make sure they have a great attitude, that they're well practiced, that it's part of our culture. We want to make sure that they're listening, caring, and reassuring. We want to make sure that we're doing it inside the office, all right? That way we can provide the expectation for what we want them to do over the phone. We want to ask when. You guys, this is the right question. Okay, when you ask, when would you like to come out, you get them thinking about us coming out. You create a visual in their minds when you ask the question. It is the right question. Okay? You book that call and you shower them with value. Okay? So, what happens if they just want a ballpark price? After all of that magic, they just want a ballpark price. Which could happen, yes? Okay, so very simple. I'm looking for a ballpark price. Great, it's a great question. Let me tell you what we do. What we do is we send out a technician. He comes out, he takes a look at the situation, he determines exactly what you need, and he gives you that price that you're looking for, that ballpark, while he's there. When would you like us to come out? Okay? Now, let's say there's a diagnostic involved. There's a diagnostic of X for us to come out and do that. When would you like us to come out? And they say, let me call you back, which never happens, right? But when it does, you simply say, Mr. Jones, is it just the diagnostic you're concerned about? Yeah, I don't want to pay it. All right, so if it weren't for the diagnostic, you'd move forward with the appointment? Yeah, I would. Okay. Well, there's one thing we can do. We've got a service agreement. It's awesome. Okay, I've noticed in the notes here that you've had us out a few times in the last couple of years. Why aren't you on a service agreement? Well, I don't know. What is it? What's the service agreement? Well, we come out in the spring, we come out in the fall, we make sure it's running at peak efficiency. The best part about it is that it keeps the thing that you're dealing with right now, from happening. Now, if I can get you on the service agreement as opposed to having you pay the diagnostic, would that be enough for you to move forward with the appointment today? Yeah, it would. How many of you guys want a service agreement as opposed to a diagnostic? Do you want a service agreement, yes or no? Yes. Absolutely yes, and you'll take it. You'll take it, okay? So that's our goal there. Now look, we now have given our team the tools that they need to take a service call and sell a service agreement. They can take a service call and they can even turn it into a replacement call, okay? We can even use coupons. Customer gets on the phone, they don't want to pay the diagnostic. Let's say they're concerned about it for whatever reason. We say, Mr. Jones, there's one thing we can do. I'm not going to make you go onto our website to find the coupon. In fact, you don't have to present anything to your technician. I'm just going to put in your notes you're taking advantage of this coupon. What it'll do is it'll help subsidize the cost of the diagnostic once you move forward with the work. Now, if I do that, is that enough for you to move forward with the appointment today? Yes, it is. Okay, see, our goal is to give them every tool possible to book every call that comes in. Even if, for whatever reason, your dispatch board isn't full. And that's a really fun day when the dispatch boards aren't full, right? It's fun for everyone. We've got a technician who's washing his truck for the second time today. People are getting real creative around here, right? So what do? Well, if a phone call comes in, remember the CSR's job, dispatcher lead coordinator, their job is to keep the board full. That's their job. All right? Now, if the dispatch board's full, then we start talking about dispatching for profit, and then we can talk about that later. But right now, we just want to keep it full. So we say, hey, a customer gets on the phone, they've already paid 2 diagnostic fees, they got a system that's 15 years old. In particular case, if we simply say, hey, Mr. Jones, we never do this, but I'm going to talk to my boss and see if I can't get this diagnostic fee waived. Why? Because you've already paid 2 diagnostic fees. I don't want to pay you a third one, but I do want you to experience how awesome we are. So if I do this just this once, is that enough for you to move forward with the appointment today? And we book that opportunity. Now, I know what happens when we give an inch with CSRs. Sometimes we go, oh no, what happened? What happens when we give too much to the CSR? They start waiving every diagnostic fee, and we're like, oh man, this isn't working. And then we say, stop, you can't do it anymore. We slap their hand, and that's the end of it. Okay, so what that is a training problem. Okay, we want to teach them when it is okay and when it's not okay. All right, we want to set up qualifications. We want to practice. We want to role play. All right, and set it up when and where we do it. All right, so it's a training issue. Don't just take it away. Don't just slap their hand. All right, so we give them all the tools they need to book every call that comes in. And then the fun begins. Competitions. You guys, if we're short on service calls, we're going to train our team to call out and get service calls. If we're down on replacement calls, we don't have enough replacement calls for the day, we go into we call it a profit center, right? We take our call center and we turn it into a profit center because that's what it should be. And we have them take the service calls that come in and make them replacement calls. Why? Because we've got to keep our comfort advisors and our lead technicians busy. Now we own this. Yes? You guys loving this so far? Yes. Feel free to clap at any time. Yes! Okay. Remember, our goal is to train and reward for the behavior we want. So if they're selling service agreements over the phone to you guys, it is the best time to sell service agreements. Technician fixes the problem. They go and say, hey, after that emotional angst is gone, right? My air conditioner is busted. There's emotional angst there. That's the best time to sell a service agreement. Over the phone is the best time to do it, right? After the problem's fixed, emotional angst is gone, and you don't have the selling power. Okay? Technician sees what? 4 or 5 people a day, homeowners a day. How many customers does a CSR talk to a day? 20, 30, perfect time. And we sell the service agreement over the phone. Technician's like, oh, what should I sell? Glad you asked. Electrostatic filter, UV lights. Oh, I don't know, maybe a new system. You got all kinds of things. You don't want to trip over pennies for dimes, right? Or dimes for pennies. You know what I'm talking about. Yes? Okay. Cross-selling appointments. If it's not just heating and cooling, it's also plumbing, it's also electrical. You can also reward them for cross-selling, okay? And you should. Service calls to replacement calls. Reward them when they do it. Customer moments 1, on record. If they've got a call where the customer says, oh my gosh, you're amazing. Don't just pass that over. Don't you dare do that. Okay, if they want to show you how cool a call was, don't you dare pass that over. You say, holy cow, let's listen to it together. Oh my gosh, let's do it again. Let's take it to your fellow CSRs. Did you listen to this? Oh my gosh, that was sick the way they said that. And you reward them for that. Okay? 100% booking ratio. Can it be done? Yep, it can be done. And it should be done. Service agreement renewals. Call them up. Resell the service agreement. You guys, if the calls aren't coming in, we should be calling out. Pretty simple. Equipment rehash. Why not? We're just going to assume that they got it replaced? We're just going to assume? Never assume. Never assume. Have them call out. Okay? Book new appointments with past customers. Here's one of my favorites, health and fitness. Now, back here you're going, well, how do we do that? Well, it's really simple. You ever have a customer say, or an inside customer, an employee say, I just got this amazing Fitbit. Say you overheard it. They were talking amongst themselves. I got this amazing Fitbit. I'm going to count my steps. Now, I'm going to change my life. They say that sort of thing, right? What do we do there? Well, we keep our antennas up and we say, hey, I heard you had a Fitbit. Yeah, man, this thing is so amazing, so incredible. Well, what's your reward at the end when you achieve your goal? Well, I don't know, I haven't thought about it. Well, what if I provided the reward? You would do that? Well, why not? Why not? Where do you want to be? How many steps a day? 10,000 steps a day? Sweet. How long do you want to do it for? A month? Awesome. And what do you want at the end? This big old party for the whole team? Awesome. Let's do it. I'll pay for it. Why would you do that? If they're not totally healthy and totally fit, could it affect their job? Could it affect their performance? Yes or no? Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Reward. Train and reward for the behavior you want. 5-star reviews. We want 5-star reviews. If you get them, we should reward them for that. We train and reward for the behavior we want. Last but not least, as far as the principles are concerned. Question. Does your team know how much you appreciate them? Now, I am grateful that you are grateful and that you show that gratitude. But there are more creative ways that we can show that gratitude. One of the things we like to do is surprise and delight our team. We have a manager that this is what he does. He surprises and delights the rest of the team. Now, I'll show you a call that we got just last week from one of our existing employees, but we also do this for our team inside here. Power Sling Pros guys, raise your hands. Where are you at? Stephen Dale's here. Tasha's here. Stephen, you mind telling us real quick about your surprise and delight experience?
Yes. Hey there, Stephen Dale, Power Selling Pros. So a couple of months ago, it's not my birthday, it's not Christmas, but suddenly my wife presents me with this nice little package, right? And I'm thinking, first of all, uh-oh, what did I do? But then I'm thinking, uh-oh, what did she do, right? But I open up the gift, and it's this really cool pair of shoes, these Birkenstocks that I've really been wanting for a long time. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh great, what did I just pay for these, right? Some guys know what I'm talking about. But then suddenly she presents this nice little card to me. And it says, hey, I opened it up and it says, we just want to say thank you. You are awesome. Love the team of Power Selling Pros. It was awesome. Because trust me, words of affirmation are awesome, but actions will move mountains. Very true.
Feel free to write that one down. Thank you, Steve. We live in Utah, mountains. We're familiar with those. Okay. So last week, one of our employees, Diane, she's amazing, going on a field trip with her family, and we were able to surprise and delight her. Here's how that sounds.
This is the sweetest gift anybody's ever given me. Thank you so much, Nathan. I am just so thrilled, and I need to know how you know that I needed sunglasses, because I literally was just digging around in my car, like, where are my sunglasses? And then I'm in the box. You got my sunglasses. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. This is so sweet. This road trip kit is super cool. The kids are going to love it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really needed that today because it's been kind of a stressful one. So thank you, Nathan. I really appreciate you so much.
What'd you hear? We got our sunglasses and a road trip kit. How cool is that? So our goal is to get them to love Mondays and to loathe Fridays. That's our goal. Okay, in addition to surprise and delight. We're going back, but let's go forward. Shout outs and breakthroughs. At the beginning of every meeting, you take 5 minutes and you give them the opportunity to shout out another individual's good performance or good behavior. In other words, hey, I was at this place the other day and my fellow employee did this amazing thing for me, totally went out of his way, just wanted to say thank you so much. Now, if you have 4 or 5 of those in every meeting, what do you think is going to happen to your meeting? What's going to happen? What do you think? It's going to be positive? It's going to be?
Very positive.
Very positive, yes. 2 positives. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Okay, breakthroughs as well. What's a breakthrough? When an individual stands up and says, hey, last week I had this situation with a customer and they had this concern, and I've had this concern several times and I really didn't know how to overcome it. But this time I had an epiphany and I said this thing here, and oh my gosh, he totally understood what I was talking about, and we were on the same page and we were aligned, and it was just so great, and it really, really helped me. Okay, you do that at the beginning of every meeting without fail. And you guys, it'll change your culture. Okay, it'll be amazing. People will be excited about coming to the meeting and hearing the shout outs and the breakthroughs. Why? Because people are learning, people are growing, and they're doing it inside of your organization, the organization that you built, that you lead. Remember, our goal is not just for them to love what they do, but to love you, and that's how you do it. Okay? So, in summation, they gotta love what they do. The way they do that is with the Pattern for Excellence. It's a powerful tool. Use it to get your team emotionally engaged in their job. Okay? They've also got to love you. All right? So, service-minded. That's our goal, is to get them to the service-minded quadrant there. High expectation, high love. Now, in the back of your heads are going, okay, this is some pretty cool stuff. And yes, we do have a program, and after I show you this program, I've got a little story I'll share with you, and then we'll part ways. But if you feel in your heart of hearts that you're not going to do this on your own, let us help you. We can do it with you. All right. So, story. Anybody ever do a Spartan race before? Raise your hands. Yes, a few Spartan racers. Okay. So, in 2019, I signed up for 10 Spartan races. I know, it was dumb. My goal was to get on the podium. What do you think I mean by getting on the podium? First, second, or third, exactly. Okay, I wanted to get on the podium, and I was training really, really hard. And I happened to have one of the races in Hawaii. And crazy thing, I had a bunch of business owners that wanted to come to Hawaii. And I said, cool, you'll have to race with me. And so one of the business owners, his name is Crandall. He owns a heating and cooling company in Sandy, Utah. And he weighs 250 pounds. He's about this tall. And he said, I want to do it. And I was like, cool, you're going to die. And he said, no, man, I want to do this. And I said, okay, you're going to need to train, right? You can't just do this, right? It's not like a half marathon or what have you. There's Jason. Is Jason in the room? Inside joke. Sorry, guys. Okay, so love you, Jason. Appreciate it. So anyway, we're going to do a Spartan race, by the way. He just has to commit. It's going to be great. Yeah, committed. Let's do this thing. Okay, so Crandall, I told him, look, you got to do a certain amount of push-ups, certain amount of pull-ups. You got to run this much every day. You've got about 4 months. You got to take this seriously, okay? You got to take it seriously. It'll be fun to be in Hawaii, but it's not going to be fun if you can't walk. So he said, okay, cool. He loses 40 pounds in preparation for this event. How cool is this story? It's freaking awesome. So I'm going, okay, cool. So we get to the race, day of the race, and I'm racing at 8:30 in the morning, and the rest of the team, they're racing at like 10:30ish. And of course I want a podium, so I give it my all. It's crazy. And twice that year I took 4th. How's that for a kick in the pants? And I didn't see the guy in front of me. Can you imagine? No! That would be terrible. But no, I didn't see him at all, so he must have ditched me pretty good. But I took 4th. I got over it really quick, and I jumped right back out on the field because I want to make sure everybody got in. Really, I just want to make sure Crandall got in. I wasn't worried about anybody else. I want to make sure Crandall got in. So I get back out there to the 5-mile mark, and I see Crandall coming through the trees, and he did not look good. I was going, Crandall, how you doing, buddy? He's like, oh, man, I don't know. And I said, look, it's going to be fantastic. And I said, did you see anybody else and any other business owners that are with us? And he's like, no, I didn't. I said, well, they're probably ahead of you. And he's like, oh, thanks for bringing that up. And I was like, oh, shouldn't have said that. And so I said, it's going to be fine. I'm going to take you. You're going to go around this loop, right? I'll meet you right back here at the 8-mile mark. It's going to be fantastic. And so remember, he starts at 10:30 in the morning. At about 5 o'clock in the evening, I meet him at the 8-mile mark. And you guys, he is exhausted. He is dead, and he wants to be done. And he said, where's the ride, right? Where's the little golf cart? Because I'm done. I'm out of here. And I said, what are you talking about, man? You're upright still. And I could see his fist getting clenched up. And I'm like, whoa. We can do this together, right? And he's like, Brigham, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. I said, but you're not done yet. You're not done. Okay, you're going to go over this hill. You're going to go around this curve. You're going to go down the bend. It's going to be great. We're going to do it together. I'm going to be with you every step of the way. Let's do this. And he says, all right. And so we do it. We trudge through it, right? It's about 7 at night. The sun's going down, and we see the finish line. And all the other business owners are there, and they're cheering him on. And next thing you know, he goes from walking to running. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is something out of a movie, right? It's incredible. He's just ditching me. He's sprinting to this finish line. He gets across the finish line. I'm right behind him. As soon as he finishes, he stops. He puts his hand on my shoulder. He says, Brigham, I got to tell you something. I said, what's that? He said, I never planned to finish. I said, wait a minute, you never planned to finish? He said, no, I trained for 8 miles. I figured that'd be good for my first Spartan race. And then he said, thank you for helping me finish. You guys, the way I felt in that moment, I would not trade for 1,000 podiums. And it helped me realize that I had the wrong goal. This entire time, I had a goal that wouldn't even be fulfilling to me. I wouldn't even think twice about it. Hey, podium, medal, sweet, good, go home. That moment was amazing. And I realized that for us as leaders, the service-minded leaders that we are, it's not just about winning. It's about the people that we bring with us to the finish line. It's our team that we bring with us, that we lift with us. That's where we get fulfilled. You guys, yeah, you got into this business maybe to make money. But it's much, much more than that now. You're providing jobs, you're providing a great culture, and you're providing fulfillment to tons and tons of people. So all I ask is that you bring them with you to the finish line. I'm Brigham Dickinson. Thank you very, very much. We'll see you at our booth. Thank you. Thank you.